Hello and welcome to The Print. I'm Akshaya Nath, Senior Assistant Editor, and today we are on a session and a conversation with Member of Parliament of Sivaganga, Karti Chidambaram. Thank you for joining us, sir.
My pleasure.
Sir, the last few weeks, to be precise, has been very controversial for the DMK and for you with the remarks on Sanatana Dharma. What is your take on Sanatana Dharma, sir?
See, this is literally a case of lost in translation. In Tamil Nadu, we have a certain understanding to the term Sanatana Dharma. In popular parlance, in public discourse, in political debate, or on the political stage, whenever people refer to Sanatana Dharma, they refer to this caste hierarchical society. This is basically code for caste hierarchical society in common parlance here in Tamil Nadu. So it's not uncommon or even surprising that particularly when the Dravidian parties refer to Sanatana Dharma, they are talking about eradication of this caste hierarchical society. Nothing more, nothing less. And what Minister Udhayanidhi Stalin spoke was not some new or original idea which he was propagating for the first time. In fact, that conference itself was organized by the progressive writers, and the title of the conference was Elimination of Sanatana Dharma, which basically meant elimination of a caste hierarchical society. That's what they also meant. And for the last 75, maybe even 80 years, people from the self-respect movement, people from the Dravidian movement, and then their political parties have always spoken against the caste hierarchical society and reformation of that caste hierarchical society. When they refer to the caste hierarchical society, it is called Sanatana Dharma. That is my understanding too. My understanding too is Sanatana Dharma means it refers to a caste hierarchical society. I am very religious personally. I mean, there is not a single day I do not do a small ritual in my puja room. In fact, I visit more temples than most people in politics. It's not a week where I don't go to multiple temples. Because in my constituency, the speciality is the temples. We have such magnificent temples, and so many events happen around temples. So, I mean, I go to a lot of temples. I consider myself, and I want to clarify this, I am a ritualistic, astrology believing, temple going Hindu. This is how I consider myself. I'm very secular. Of course, I go to other things. So, even for somebody like me, when you talk about Sanatana Dharma, it only means the caste hierarchical society. In my own upbringing, where my grandmothers were both my grandmothers, maternal and paternal, very pious and very quite religious in their own way, they never ever use this term Sanatana Dharma. If you ask any average person in Tamil Nadu who typically will be temple going, 99% of the people in Tamil Nadu go to temple, you ask them, do you follow Sanatana Dharma? It will be an alien term. That is not. But in north of India, obviously, they have a different connotation, a different meaning, and they have some deep theological and deep philosophical meaning. That is not part of our understanding or heritage here. So, because of this dichotomy about what it means to people in Tamil Nadu, particularly those in politics here, and what it means to people in North India, there seems to be some kind of a conflict here, thinking that. But I have listened to the minister's speech very carefully. He has never said, it was in Tamil, so I do not know how good the translation was for the people who are all getting hot under the collar in the north. He has never said that he wants to even giving the benefit of doubt that Sanatana Dharma means a religious, philosophical path. He never said that anybody following that path must be eliminated. He only talked about in the Tamil Nadu context of eliminating Sanatana Dharma, which means a caste hierarchical society. So there is no call for genocide, there is no call for violence, there is no call for any action against people following a faith or following a practice. So that was complete misrepresentation. And this conflict is because of the understanding of the term and the usage of the term here in Tamil Nadu and in the north of it.
People like Raja, have made remarks like Hinduism is a menace. And when you're making these kind of remarks from the south, and especially when you see India bloc with alliances parties like DMK. Do you think that when you're trying to do a soft Hindutva kind of an appearance in the north as well, this will hurt the India
See,
bloc?
you have to understand the background which Raja comes from. He comes from a social background which has been discriminated for centuries in Tamil Nadu. So he probably is speaking from that experience. He's probably speaking from that, that discriminatory experience which he and his forefathers have felt. So I can understand that it is akin to to people who have been suppressed for long periods of time. It's their emotion there. So I would not say that is, that when he talks about that, I am not here to clarify him. I'm not his spokesperson, so I can't really do it. But I can understand from where he's coming from. But yes, but I don't think that this is going to be a breaking point in the alliance itself. As I said, this is a political alliance against the BJP, because the BJP, we believe, is taking India into a very dangerous trajectory, and we need to stop that. That is what it is. Yes, but there will these kind of voices, particularly on a social context, there will be differences between political parties. I don't expect all political parties to completely converge, but one must appreciate the social transformation of Tamil Nadu, the social and political history of Tamil Nadu, and the Dravidian movement's evolution, and the people who have come through the Dravidian movement and their social background and why they are saying certain things. And I understand that. I mean, I would not necessarily endorse the literal meaning of what he said, but I can understand his angst of why he's saying. Somebody like me who is obviously not faced any kind of social discrimination. I come from a very, very privileged background. None of my forefathers can even claim that any discrimination. But I understand where Mr. Raja is coming from. I do actually understand that.
So one of the demands of most of the BJP leaders has been a remark from Sonia Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi on this matter, and that has not been there. Why the silence?
No, the Congress party has made its position very, very clear. I mean, our General Secretary organization has spoken. Our chief spokesperson, Pawan Khera, has spoken. That is the party line. The party is very clear. We believe in secularism. We believe in Yammadamam Sammadam, as they say in Tamil. We believe in all faiths, and all faiths will be treated equally. We are not for or against any particular faith, and I believe that faith is a private matter, and the Congress party will stay true to its secular credentials.
That remarks on Sanatana Dharma, many of your alliance partners in the India bloc had distanced itself, including the Congress. But at the same time, what we see the BJP saying, like for example, Annamalais, while talking to ThePrint, said that this India bloc is like a sand castle which can fall apart if one alliance partner makes the wrong move.
Multiple parties will have multiple views. These are not make or break issues. And the Tamil Nadu Dravidian parties, they have a social history and they are echoing their sentiments from that point of view. This is not going to be make or break. I mean, I'd like to ask Mr. Annamalais. I know he comes from the Kongu region. I mean, he suddenly is batting for this North Indian interpretation of Sanatana Dharma. When he grew up, did his parents or grandparents, when they took him to a place of worship, did they say, "Come, Tambi, let's go and follow Sanatana Dharma"? I mean, I know he comes from the Kongu region. My mother comes from the same region. I'm sure. I understand the practices of people from that area and from that part of Tamil Nadu. I don't think anybody ever would have told him, "Let's go practice Sanatana Dharma." This is it's a term which is only used in political stage. No family in Tamil Nadu would have used this term in their worship. And Tamil Nadu, we go to more temples. So this newfound sudden meaning for this term, and other than what is being used in political parlance, is baffling to me. I mean, Mr. Annamalais must actually explain since when is he familiar with this term? When was this term introduced into his daily worship by his family? Was it something which he grew up with? Is it something which is part of his heritage and religious practices? I think they must clarify. And you have to also ask Mrs. Tamilisai Soundararajan. I mean, she comes from the Tuticorin area. Was this also part of her practice? This term that this is actually signifies the Hindu religion is a North Indian construct. It is not a Tamil construct at all. And in Tamil Nadu, as I said, it only means a caste hierarchical society and nothing else.
almost like a few decades back, the Congress had a very stronghold in the state of Tamil Nadu. Like we even had a chief minister from the Congress.
Well before my lifetime.
So what really went wrong for the Congress in Tamil Nadu?
Many things have gone wrong. You see, Tamil Nadu became I think it was the first state to become presidential, where people started voting for the chief minister. And we've had really three chief ministers, if you include Anna, four larger than life chief ministers, who are like colossus in the political arena. Mr. Annamalais, M.G. Ramachandran, Kalingar Karunanidhi and Jayalalitha. And people voted for them. Candidates became irrelevant. Their leadership, they voted for the party under their leadership. And the Congress never was able to throw up a leader who could match up to them. After through Kamaraj, we never had a leader who could match up to them. I mean, we tried it once with Mr. Mupanar in 89, but he never persisted with it. We gave up that idea in 91. In 89, we tried it, but in 91, we gave it up. So, we have never thrown up, unless in Tamil Nadu, unless you are able to put forward a candidate as a potential chief minister, not necessarily a chief minister itself, it's a potential chief minister, and people buy into that. The party has really no chance, and that's where we are lacking. And because we have been away from state government, and then our cadre started getting weaker, our organization is also getting weaker. So it's not, and we are not able to match the cadre and organizational strength of both the Dravidian parties.
Is there a space for national parties in Tamil Nadu? We see that the BJP is doing a lot of aggressive.
I think so. I think there is room for a national party. I think there is a section of people who want to associate themselves with national parties. And the Congress party is the natural choice for the national party, and I understand that the BJP is trying to eat into that space. The BJP's brand of politics is poisonous to Tamil Nadu. There might be some purchase to it, but I don't see wholesale purchase for the BJP's agenda. Particularly, people in Tamil Nadu have a pushback against this Hindi-Hindutva agenda of the BJP. But there's definitely space for national parties in Tamil Nadu.
So why not be more aggressive here?
We should not necessarily be aggressive. I think we should be more active. We should be more proactive. We should associate ourselves with real life people problems on a daily basis. And we should articulate our position on every issue very, very clearly, and not necessarily just because we have an alliance with a political party does not mean that we need to be mute or we should be a vassal to them. That sometimes is a criticism of the Congress party, that we are sometimes a mute vassal. While yes, we respect the alliance, but we will have our differences. If all parties have, just because you have an alliance, it's not obligatory that you must agree with everything the dominant party does. There must be differences, and we must voice our differences. And there are public issues, we must speak about those public issues. Public issues particularly pertinent to daily life in Tamil Nadu, or events which happen which seem to have an impact. We should not be shy. The Congress party is a little coy and shy in airing its view forcefully and articulately. I think that's a problem, and it should be corrected, in my opinion.
There's always this allegation about the Congress that within the Congress there's a lot of groupism, and that is the reason why it's not able to strive or put its potential out. Every
political party will have competition among itself. You mean to say the BJP is one monolith and nobody competes with each other? See, this groupism is an exaggerated criticism against the Congress. There will be leaders vying for space within political parties, and there will be people who are following those leaders. So that's natural and normal in a political party. So I don't think that is the reason there. The reason is, we are not able to put forward a potential chief minister. That is one reason why we are not able to lead a front or people to gravitate towards us in the state level. And secondly, we are a little too coy in articulating our positions vis-a-vis local issues in Tamil Nadu. And then, and the third is, you must build organizational structure. And because we're not a very tight-knit and political party, we are lacking when it comes to both the ADMK and the DMK.
So, coming back to Tamil Nadu, we're seeing that Annamalais has started a Padayatra for the BJP, and he had crisscrossed through Sivaganga and places. What kind of a response are you getting about his Padayatra? Do you see that as a threat? Because, many people have been dismissing it off. At the same time, many people are giving it a lot of weightage as well. So, what is your take on it?
He gets a very disproportionate amount of media space. I think it's because of the ad spend of the central government. I think media is obligated to give him that kind of space, give the BJP that kind of space. I think he gets, for his political station in life in Tamil Nadu, I think he gets a disproportionate amount of coverage. there's not much of an impact. I have assessed what is done in Sivaganga. It said the same trite things and nothing innovative. And the same, there's no great groundswell of support or anybody beyond the committed party cadre who showed up. So I really don't see have the BJP having any significant impact in Tamil Nadu. Yes, they are visible now because they are well funded. Their organization is well funded, so they are visible, but does not mean they are present in the hearts and minds of people.
Your father had tweeted about how Rishi Sunak, as soon as he returned, had a conversation or a debate with the opposition parties. And he was talking about this kind of a debate or a conversation with the present opposition in India is missing from the ruling party. What exactly do you think needs to change within the parliament system?
The attitude of the BJP? I mean, the BJP's attitude and particularly the Prime Minister's attitude, he does not respect Parliament. They only treat Parliament as a rubber stamp to pass. Because they have a brute majority, they can get away with it, and it's only a rubber stamp. So the Prime Minister doesn't come during question hour. He himself has not answered any questions. He rarely attends Parliament. So it's really the attitude of the BJP. If anything needs to change, it's the attitude of the BJP, and particularly the Prime Minister has to change. The Prime Minister in Great Britain has to come to Parliament, I think every Wednesday or Tuesday, I do not know which day, and he is obligated to answer questions. Here the Prime Minister doesn't answer any questions. He doesn't attend Parliament. He doesn't participate in normal debates. He comes for the President's address, he comes to give a reply, and then now we had a no confidence motion because we had to bring a no confidence motion in order to force him to come to Parliament. It's really his style, and that's been his style even when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat. He hardly went to us in the Assembly, hardly participated in any debates. See, in parliamentary parlance, it's always said the government can have its way because it has a majority, but you must allow the opposition to have its say. But here, I believe that the BJP is rather an insecure political party, and they have this. I would even go to the extent of saying they have an inferiority complex of allowing the opposition to say. They can always vote us out. I know the gearing in Parliament today. The BJP can get any law passed. Why should they feel insecure? Why can't they let the opposition speak or raise any issue of our choice? They just simply don't allow to do that, and that is why you're having disruptions. And also, there is no dialogue. Before, political parties, while they will have heated debates, they will always have dialogue. There will be back-channel dialogues. And unfortunately, with this setup in the BJP, there's no communication. There is no back-channel, off-the-record, in the corridor conversations with the BJP anymore.
So you mean to say that you don't have fellow parliamentarians from the BJP having conversations with you?
No, they have conversations with us, but none of them have any authority. They have off-the-record conversations, but none of them have any authority. So the BJP, you have to understand, was a far more democratic party. Their parliamentary board meant something there. People would debate in the parliamentary board, and everything had to go through the party. Right now, everything only has to be okayed by the Prime Minister. Everything else is only becoming a stamping authority, endorsement of the Prime Minister post. That's all. So there's no real back channel because I don't think anybody is authorized to speak. That's why whenever you have gridlock, typically what happens is somebody will come back and have a back channel chat and say, hey, what can we do? What can you do? Let's break the gridlock. There's no conversations like that anymore. There is simply no conversations like that anymore because the structure of the BJP has changed. The BJP, from being a very collective, has become completely focused only on the Prime Minister now. It's not a collective anymore. That used to be the strength of the BJP. I don't like them ideologically, but there are things which they got right. They were a far more, there was a collective leadership there. But that's gone. The parliamentary board has no meaning in the BJP anymore.
But the allegation or accusation is always towards the opposition, right? They've been told as weak. They've been called as people who are not doing sufficient enough for making the government answerable.
The point is, every time we bring an adjournment motion, the Speaker rejects it. Why don't you look at the stats? It's in how many adjournment motions the Congress have. Adjournment motion is basically asking you to take up an issue of urgency to discuss in the House. Let's go to the statistics. In the 9 years of Prime Minister Modi's government, how many times have they admitted adjournment motion? 0. They don't even agree to small semantic amendments we bring to bills. There are people who pour over bills and point out small changes, which they don't. So there is really no discussion and dialogue with us anymore. And yes, because they have a brute majority, they have 303 MPs. Because the way it is structured in Parliament with their 303, they can pass any law. Tomorrow morning, if Mr. Modi decides that we will mandate that will say that all the crows in this country are white. Suppose they pass a bizarre law. The BJP will pass that law. There is hardly any debate within the BJP itself. The BJP itself is not a collective. I mean, for example, demonetization. The finance minister of the day did not know about it. When they withdrew the farm bills, the agriculture minister did not know about it. He only got to know about it by listening to it on the television. Nobody knows. It's no more a political party with a healthy debate and discussion. It's all diktats given, and they go out and endorse the diktat. There is no. It's not a collective at all. BJP is completely transformed. The BJP of today is not the BJP under Vajpayee at all.
The India bloc has said that they're going to boycott certain anchors in certain shows, in certain media channels. What is your take on this? Because already the say of the opposition is that we don't get enough space in media.
Today, see, I don't see. There are, through my experience, I would not go and appear with certain anchors because I could see the kind of slant they have. They're not willing to listen to us. This browbeating, shouting. So it's only natural that we will bypass all of them. And today with social media, we'll only have to build our own channels and go together. Because I can't. The media is not necessarily playing the role it has to play. How many times do you even push the Prime Minister or ask the government uncomfortable questions? They don't ask any questions. There was zero press interaction during the G20. It's only monologues. There was no interaction. This is not how global leaders react. This is not how presidents of large democratic or prime ministers of large democratic countries behave. This is very odd. As I said, I always said this, the model of the BJP is to create a Hindutva Iran, a theological state where they will define the theology and interpret the theology and have, like they have the Ayatollahs, they will have people here at the top who are ideologically committed to them, running the thing, deciding what is good, what is bad, what is moral, what is immoral, what is law, and how law should be interpreted, everything. It's the real model of the BJP is Iran. They want to make India into a Hindutva Iran with the Ayatollahs running there. And that they want similar kind of the hold the Ayatollahs have over not only over the political life, but also over the social life. That's exactly what the BJP wants to do.
Two questions I want to ask as follow-up to this. First is about the G20. What is your take on the G20 meeting that recently happened? There was again the opposition saying that there was no conversation with the opposition parties or involvement of the opposition parties for the G20 at all.
First of all, this is not some special privilege which was bestowed on India. Every year, a new country becomes the president of the G20. It's a global grouping. Brazil is the president the next year. Indonesia was the president the previous year, and I think somebody else was before it. And it will come by rotation. This is not some great privilege or honor which has been bestowed on India. It will come every 20 years. I'm sure in 2043, India will become again the president of the G20. While, of course, we need to have all these kind of organizations, but let's not hype it up for more than what it is. The declaration, while you're all celebrating that they brought a consensus, what does it practically mean to for us, for our lives here? Are we going to get visas easier in these countries? They might be say bilateral. You only have to see whether it actually practical. Because most times these are all motherhood and apple pie statements. All sounds great when you formulate it, but what does it actually mean on the ground? But let me be very honest with you. This will have no resonance politically in India. You might show some imagery of the Prime Minister or other leader, but in Tamil Nadu, here, it will have absolutely no resonance. To say that we've come up with a Delhi declaration, its meaning, I'm not taking it away from our diplomats who hammered it out, but it will have what will be the resonance on the ground? What will be the impact on the ground? What can we say? Okay, because of this Delhi declaration, these are the things which are improved for India. Can they say that after 3 months, 4 months? Or what has happened with all the declarations we've made with other countries and in other diplomatic forums? A lot of times, these are all hyped up beyond their utilitarian value.
And you were also talking about how BJP is trying to replicate an Iran type of model in our country. When you say this, what kind of a scenario is the BJP doing? Can you give us some examples of it?
There is an overt Sanskritized upper caste Hindutva push. That is their version of Hindutva. Their Hinduism is a North Indian Sanskritized vegetarian. I won't go to the extent of saying the vegetarian Hindutva. That is the thrust. now suddenly bringing all focus into a temple as if it is the Vatican of Hinduism. I mean, that's not how our faith was. Everybody's got their own. We have a kabillion gods, and everybody has, faith was different, practice was different. But now you're trying to, everything has to be unified. Everything is being codified. Exactly like how the Ayatollahs do. You're codifying everything. You're saying this is, if you do this, this is not right. This is what you should do, and kind of putting people into it. That's why their version of society itself is a very Sanskritized, upper caste, vegetarian Hinduism. I mean, that's the version they want to thrust on everybody else without understanding the diverse nature of our faith and the diverse nature of our practices.
And coming back to the special session that is going to happen in the parliament, the agenda is out. But what do you think do you think that this session was really required at this point of time?
I don't know what's special about the agenda. These are all very routine. I mean, whatever I read today in the papers looks very, very routine. Like the post office bill and advocates amendment bill. These are all nothing. There's no tearing urgency to call parliament. I mean, it's good that parliament is meeting. I wish parliament met more often. But I have a suspicion that this is just going to be one rah-rah session that Prime Minister did a great show in G20. So let's pass some resolutions in his favor. I have a suspicion that this is only going to go there and nothing substantive is going to happen. And all this speculation of them bringing some kind of earth-shattering or completely bringing a law which will change the face of the constitution, I really don't think that's all going to happen. I think it's just going to be one large rah-rah session of the Prime Minister.
What do you think about using Bharat as the name during the G20? Like, there's a lot of speculation around that
in
also.
In Tamil, when we speak, I say Bharadam. I mean, I say Bharata Pradhamar. I say Bharata Janadhipati, Bharata Nadu. It's quite common. So if I have no problems if they interchangeably use India or Bharat. I have really no problem with that. But if you're going to officially change the name of India into Bharat, then you really have serious economic and costs and consequences. So, for example, if you have to change the name of the Reserve Bank of India, so the Reserve Bank of Bharat, which means you'll have to reprint all the notes. I mean, it will be worse than demonetization. You'll have to call back even the 10 rupee notes. Then maybe that's their plan. Maybe they want to replace the picture of Mahatma Gandhi with Modi's picture, and this is really a good excuse for them to say they're changing the name. But officially changing the name will lead to lots of complications. Our passport says Republic of India, so you'll have to reprint all passports. These are only two small examples I'm giving. They'll have a million things you need to do. Even the domain for the .in is the domain name for India, so that has to be changed. So all those IP protocols also have to be changed. So there's a huge cost. But I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to get into that misadventure. They might interchangeably use the Bharat for India, which I'm fine with that. I have really no problem with that because we use it. In Tamil, I do say Bharatam quite often. So it's not alien to us. It's not something they have invented. But to officially change the name of India to Bharat will have lots of complications.
What kind of bills do you think need to be represented in the parliament, which is not being given space right now? Like, whatever effort that you've put in, which are the things that you want to point out saying that these are not being
I think the Women's
considered?
Reservation Bill needs to be brought in ASAP. I want the 2024 elections to be fought with 33% reservation for women. I think we need more women in parliament, and the only way we can bring that about is by reservation. And I wish if there is something which I would really like to see, I would like to see the Women's Reservation Bill and getting it implemented and conducting the 2024 elections with under that rules and regulations.
And just going back to the India bloc again, like when the India bloc recently met, they have decided that they want to push for the caste census to be done. When you're saying that this caste hierarchy is wrong and the caste system is wrong, why do you need this kind of a caste census? And do you think this will benefit the India bloc in any way?
See, I firmly believe that caste is a curse of India. That is my firm belief. I don't identify myself with any caste. I've never filled out a form in my life where I've put that specified which caste I belong to. While I definitely specify my religion, I do not belong to any caste. That is where I stand. Whether regarding a caste census, there seems to be differing views. People believe that unless you have the data, you really can't bring about proper social programs to uplift those people who are marginalized. So without data, you'll be stabbing in the dark. I agree with that. But with this data, will it then also be a tool for political posturing because the caste numbers will become more apparent. So it's a double-edged sword. But I understand the reason why you need the data. But we need to move away from caste. But unfortunately, we don't have too many tools today for social upliftment other than caste. But in Tamil Nadu, I think we have sort of hit on a reasonably good marker. I wish this will develop into a proper structure. See, this is giving 7.5% reservation for government schools in medical colleges and engineering colleges. I think it's a great tool for finding people who are socially and economically marginalized. Because nobody who's socially uppity or who has got the economic resources goes to a government school. So I think this government school model moves away from purely a caste marker. If those kind of tools get developed, then we don't have to rely on caste markers for social programs.
Coming to Karti Chidambaram and the targeting that Karti Chidambaram has faced, as you say, there's been multiple raids, multiple investigations that have been conducted on you. This very office that we're sitting in has been raided 8 times by 2 agencies. What has been the impact of these investigations or raids on you?
This is all a completely political targeting. I mean, it's actually absurd. I think even if anybody who would even read the charge sheets against me would find the absurdity of this whole thing. I think this whole reason this is being done is to send a signal. It's basically to say P. Chidambaram is a very articulate and vehement critic of this government. And he comes from a certain socio-economic background. And he's held certain positions of authority in this country. If we can humiliate him, and we can do this to him, we can do this to anybody else. So it's like making him a symbol of what they can do to everybody else. That's what has happened. Otherwise, the allegations itself will all fizzle out because while we go through the court process and it will amount to nothing. But they have sent a signal saying if we can do this to P. Chidambaram, we can do this to anybody. That's a very diabolical message which they have sent out to civil society, to the political class, and to intelligentsia and everybody else. That's what they're doing. So I'm only a fallout of this whole thing. I don't think I am being personally targeted. Yes, I mean, I have had it's disrupted life as I know it in a significant way, but I have to soldier on. But the real target has been to send this signal. If we can do this to P. Chidambaram, we can do it That's why journalists and other industrialists, thinkers, many of them will get cowed down. They say, oh my God, if this can happen to a man who's held such high position, if they can humiliate him and do this kind of harassment to him, why should we bother? Let's just cow down. That's what's happening.
So what is the status of these cases now?
Nothing. It's all going through the legal process. We'll go through the legal process and it'll all fizzle out in due course of time.
Coming to the Tamil Nadu Congress committee, there is talk about a presidential elections going on. Multiple rounds of movement by different leaders have happened. Your name has also been going rounds in the circle. If you were made the TNCC president, what kind of a changes will you bring in?
This is not an election. This is only a nomination. And it will be a nomination by the AICC. And the AICC president has to make the nomination. We have always only had nominated presidents in Tamil Nadu, never had elections. So I've made it very clear, and I'm not shy about saying it, is that please give me the opportunity. I have the energy, I have the will, and I think I have the capacity to lead this party at least for the next 3-4 years. And I would definitely, as I told you, there are a couple of things which I would correct immediately, is to strengthen the organization at every level and to be far more articulate and vocal about local issues. Those two changes I'll definitely bring about. I understand our station in the electoral politics in Tamil Nadu. I completely respect the alliance with the DMK. I think that's a winning alliance. And we will make sure that that alliance is strengthened and we win the elections in 2024.
And, finally about the India bloc, what do you think will be the future of India bloc in the country as well as in Tamil Nadu and specifically for you in Sivaganga?
No, the India bloc is very strong in Tamil Nadu. DMK is the leader of the India bloc in Tamil Nadu. The Congress is the second party. Then we have the Communists, the MDMK, the VCK. I believe there are a couple of new parties are going to come. And we are going to sweep the polls. Mark my words, we are going to win all 39 seats. And we are going to win very comfortably in all 39 seats, including Sivaganga very, very comfortably in the upcoming election. There's no doubt about it. All India, yes, in certain states, the alliance will be very strong. It will be strong in Maharashtra. It will be strong in Bihar. And in certain states, we need to iron out the arrangements, like in Bengal and in Delhi. We have to iron it out. It will be a bit complicated in some states, and some states it will naturally fall into place. But the India bloc will remain. Every meeting of the India bloc is only strengthening the India bloc. From Patna to Bangalore, Bangalore to Bombay, the bloc has only gotten stronger. And now we are having coordination committee meetings. So this is a large political grouping which will find its place, and we will be a formidable opponent, and we will give an alternative to the Hindi-Hindutva agenda of the BJP when we go to the polls in 20.
So thanks a lot for joining us on The Print. I'm Akshaya Nath, Senior Assistant Editor for The Print.
Thank you.